Hi again! Hello again. So the historical character we talked about last week might have been a little bit of an if you know kind of niche person in the world of Broadway history, but the person we are meeting today, I guarantee, even if you think you've never heard of him before, you have heard his work.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where Harlem sits, putting on the ritz.
Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes, or cutaway coat, perfect fits.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
In 1888, in some little unknown shtetl in Imperial Russia, a little boy was born. He was one of 8 children. His name was Irving Berlin. At only 5 years old, he watched his home burn, and he and his family fled to America, escaping religious persecution. Let's think back real quickly to those chapters that I mentioned back in the first video. 1893 is the date that I mentioned as the beginning, and that is a pretty specific year to claim to be the beginning of all American musical theater. We established last week that that was a year of Flo Ziegfeld's first big foray into producing, but 1893 is also the year that this little boy arrived on the shores of New York City. Little Izzy Berlin spoke not one word of English, only Yiddish, and when asked to describe the New York City of his childhood, he said this: "I was a little Russian-born kid, son of an Orthodox rabbi living on the Lower East Side of New York City. I never felt poverty because I had never known anything else. We had an enormous family. In the summer, some of us slept on the fire escape or on the roof. I slept better in tenement houses than I do now in a nice bed." Israel was taught to sing by his father, a rabbi, and he would have sung in temple and on high holidays, absorbing the chromatic, melancholic melodies that he heard there. In fact, with his incredible ear, he was able to learn English and the rhythm of New York by absorbing and listening to all of the music he could find all around him. Pipe organs on street corners, temple cantors, minstrel songs, ragtime, anything he could hear. When he was 13 years old, his father died. To support his family, he took to busking, singing on the street or in clubs or in restaurants, anywhere he could earn a penny. And in 1907, when he was working as a singing waiter in the Bowery, he was asked to write an original song by his employer. And as he had been absorbing all of the sounds of the ethnic variety shows of the Lower East Side, this young Russian Yiddish-speaking man wrote Marie from sunny Italy in an Italian dialect.
My sweet Mary from sunny Italy, oh, how I do love you. Say that you love me too, forevermore.
When he received the sheet music, there was a printing error. Instead of Irving Berlin, his name was printed as I. Berlin. He figured this was a pretty solid name for an American songwriter, so he rolled with it. Now, bear with me really quick for a little historical tangent. It's relevant, I promise, you'll see. So, in the days following the Civil War, the family home was established as the true center for entertainment, and every house had a piano in the living room. This was a real sign of class. And with no mechanical reproduction of sound, the only way to learn and to be exposed to new music was by singing around the piano. As such, there was booming business to be found in the print and sale of sheet music. And this business was centered not on Broadway, but on a small stretch of block on West 28th Street. Now, once upon a time, a journalist named Monroe Rosenfeld was visiting New York City, and he compared the cacophony of this block with pianos banging out of every open window to the sound of hundreds of people clanging and banging away on tin pans, and he gave the name Tin Pan Alley. And it was here on Tin Pan Alley that Irving Berlin established himself as a songwriter, primarily at first writing and selling songs to Flo Ziegfeld for use in his follies. You could sell songs for a dime here. People were just churning and burning through songs on Tin Pan Alley. And it's really fun to note that Irving Berlin was not a very good pianist. He could only play in one key, F sharp, and he actually bought himself when he was 21 his own piano that had a special little knob on the bottom that you could pull and turn, and it would physically move the keyboard over, pretty much manually transposing to whatever key he needed, so he could play in the one little key that he knew, but it would actually change keys for him.
This is the first piano I ever owned. It's what we call a transposing keyboard. Want to see how it works?
Yes.
Well, you see, I only play an F sharp in the black key, you see?
Oh, the black keys.
That's right. Now, with this...
Oh, that's one. Could I see that again, please?
Now at this time, the cycle and the dissemination of popular music was pretty different. The best way to get your songs to sell, get them in a theater. In this day and age, songs were rarely, if ever, written for the stage. Instead, they were casually thrown in or definitely kind of shoehorned into the story as a means of promoting the composer. It's why you'll hear the same song popping up in multiple of the same composer's shows. And why, by the time a song finally lands in a show, it will have been tried in multiple previous projects. Theater was a place that reflected the music of the time, sure, but it was also a place from which to introduce new sounds and rhythms to the popular soundscape. So Irving Berlin exists as a new idea in the culture, a celebrity songwriter. He sold his songs to Ziegfeld's Follies, collaborated with many big-name performers. He laid a huge influential groundwork that would lead the way for following composers such as Victor Herbert, such as Jerome Kern. And above all, he was a person that the populace trusted and in fact demanded to hear. And it was from this position that Berlin was able to successfully introduce a new rhythm to theater and to popular music: ragtime. Because believe it or not, people were scared of ragtime. In 1910, ragtime was scandalous. It was the devil's music in kind of a way that rock or jazz or rap have been referred to. You know, seedy, a bad influence, that kind of thing. Nonsense, but you know what I mean. In 1911, he was the first composer that introduced this sound to popular music. With the song Alexander's Ragtime Band, Berlin made ragtime safe, saying, "This isn't scary, this isn't dangerous, come along and hear it."
Come on and hear Alexander's Ragtime Band. Come on and hear, it's the best band in the land. They can play a bugle call like you never heard before. So natural that you wanna go to war. That's just the best band what am on the honey lamb.
And the people did. Alexander's Ragtime Band was Berlin's first international hit. We're going to be seeing a lot more of Berlin moving forward. This is kind of your introduction to at least the time frame that we're in right now. I promise we'll get to Holiday Inn, White Christmas, and all that good stuff. But this is our introduction to Irving Berlin. With his music, Berlin was able to capture the sound of the changing American spirit. In his words, "All the old rhythm is gone, and in its place is heard the hum of an engine, the whir of wheels, the explosion of exhaust. The new age demands new music for new action." From 1914 to 1962, Berlin composed over 24 Broadway musicals. Holiday Inn, White Christmas, Annie Get Your Gun, Call Me Madam, etc., etc. He wrote over 1,500 songs. In an interview with Jerome Kern, he was asked to place Berlin in the scope of American music. And Jerome Kern said, "Irving Berlin has no place in American music. Irving Berlin is American music." Not to mention, he was cute as a button, with a little tenor voice that could just, break your heart. I love talking about Irving Berlin, and thank you so much for staying and listening if you did. Do you have any favorite Berlin songs? Right now I have Blue Skies stuck in my head. Pop them in the comments if you do. We're meeting some of the really big heroes and characters right now. Next week, we're going to talk about kind of the physical landscape of the theater district, which is a pretty cool one, actually. So stick around, subscribe to follow along, and I will see you next time. Mwah!